everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommy. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 105. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a new viewer, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, a big welcome back. Today is a really foggy and cold Friday in October here in the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. There are show notes in the description box below, so check that out if I talk about anything you want to find a link to. It is October. Happy autumn. I'm so excited that it's starting to get cold out, and if you've watched the last few episodes, you will know that my knitting mojo has gone way down. Had gone way down in the summer when it was warm, and kind of all of the sudden it got cold where I am, and all of the sudden I wanted to start knitting again. So that's good news. So for the last few years I have enjoyed using the hashtag autumn and sweaters on Instagram during the season of autumn for sweaters that I'm making and sweaters that I'm wearing. And I have also tried to encourage other people to use the hashtag too so that I can follow along in what they're doing. This year I am going to make it a make-along. I think I did that last year too. So we are starting a make-along for autumn. It's gonna be on Instagram only, and it's gonna be where you use the hashtag autumn and sweaters 2020, and it's for any posts that you put up about making a sweater or wearing a handmade sweater in autumn of 2020. So I hope that you're making sweaters or wearing your handmade sweaters this year, and if you are and you want to throw it up on Instagram, put up the hashtag. I am going to be running that make along and wear along. It's a make along and a wear along this year. So it'll end at the end of autumn, which I don't know what that is offhand. That's the winter solstice, which is December 20-something. Yes, that's when it'll end, the winter solstice. And I will drop prices from Instagram, from the hashtag. So I don't know what those are going to be yet. We'll figure it out. And in the meantime, I hope you participate. I hope you can participate. So I'm excited about that. That's my first make-along / wear-along in a really long time. Okay, so that is make-along that I'm starting right now, that I kind of just decided to do right now. Let's move on to what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Spiral Sweater by Regina Weiss, and this is a sweater that I crocheted, and I love it. I hardcore love this sweater. This is the first garment that it's the only garment I've ever crocheted, and I am in love with this sweater. It's a spiral back sweater. So that's what the back looks like. It's a big circle, so the bottom of it comes up like this. It's got fringe all along the bottom and the back. And it's got this it's a mini kind of shawl collar. And it's got these big kind of oversized sleeves. I love it so much. The only thing I wear this sweater pretty frequently. I really, really like wearing it. The only thing that I don't love about it is how small the armholes are. And I did a lot of winging it in terms of gauge and size, pretty much with this pattern. I crocheted the smallest size, and I'm pretty sure my gauge is a little bit off. I never measured my gauge. And but the whole sweater fits fine, but the armholes are a teeny bit tight, and I wish they were a little bit bigger. And I'm tempted to make another one of these and actually kind of check my gauge and make sure I make the right size and everything. But the rest of the sweater fits really good, and I can kind of get over the armhole thing. Like, this is right where the armhole is right here, and it's just a little it's a little tight. It kind of cuts in a little bit, and then it kind of stretches right here at that joint. But the yarn that I used for this is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in, is it the Long Johns colorway? I'm not sure. It's the red one. It's the worsted weight Brooklyn Tweed. There is actually a fingering weight version of this sweater. I think it might be called the Spiral Duster or something like that. I don't know, but it's by the same designer. And I really want to make that. And I would love to make a scrappy version. I think I'm going to do that. I'm deciding right now. Is that going to be my autumn and sweaters project? The scrappy crochet fingering weight duster? I don't know. Probably. So that's what I'm wearing today. Oh, I'm also wearing my Agnes, which is, it's black. It's a sewing pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, and I made this out of some black jersey fabric a while ago, and it is, I think, the single most worn hand sewn object that I've ever made. The pattern itself, the Agnes, is a top, and it's a scoop neck top with variations on the shoulder style, the sleeve length, and there's kind of a variation for ruching at the bust. It's a top though, and I hacked this one to be like a dress slash tunic. It's dress length, so it goes down to my thighs, but it's just a long top. There's no like waist structure or anything. And I wear this a lot. I really, really like it. It's really nice for wearing under long sweaters or like other kind of tops, so that it kind of, the bottom of it is so long it kind of peeks out the bottom of the sweater. Also, it's really good for wearing under skirts because since it's so long, it kind of acts as like a slip, and then the top is just the top. So I really like this as well. Okay, let's move on to finished objects. I finally have a finished object. I think this is my first finished object of like the whole summer. I don't know. It's really tiny though. I made some mittens. You have not seen these before. I made these in a matter of like 3 days this past week. And this is the Tin Can Knits pattern called World's Simplest Mittens, I think. And that's a really nice pattern. It's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, and it's a mitten pattern that has size options for like, I think baby, through a bunch of different adult sizes. It also has different gauge options, so there are specific instructions for like every weight of yarn you could possibly want to use. So it's kind of an all-inclusive plain mitten pattern, and it's exactly what I was looking for a pair of mittens for Lucy, because it's getting cold and we'd like to go on a lot of walks and her hands get cold. I've made her a pair of mittens before, but they're too small now. So I made her this pair, and the yarn that I used is Knit Picks Swish DK in the Sugar Plum colorway. So it's a superwash merino DK weight, and it's the leftovers from her baby monster that I knit her, which was the Hugo the Couch Potato Monster pattern by Jessica Danger. I knit her that monster stuffy for her birthday in July, and I had just a really small ball of yarn left over, so I used most of it to make these. And the only thing that I changed from the pattern is it calls for a 1x1 rib, but I did a 2x2 rib, and they're just really, really basic. They're cuff up, and the decreases are really simple. It's just kind of like a toe decrease where it's just decreasing on either side, and then you kind of tie it through at the top. They're both slightly different sizes, because that's how I do. It was an accident, but you know, it happens. I think this bottom one is a little shorter than the top one. I made the same size. I made the toddler size, and they fit her really great. I think they're a little long in the cuff, but that's okay. But I think I just like, you know, did one a couple rows shorter than the other one. It's fine. So I like them. They're perfect. It's a really great mitten pattern if you're looking for something super simple. Okay, that's my finished object. Moving on to works in progress, I have a couple. The first one is living in my Woodsy and Wild crow bag. I really like this bag. It's got skulls. Are those the skulls? Those aren't the skulls. It's got skulls and like chandeliers and crows and spiders. Crows. Oh, and that super cool moon that I really like. Crows are my favorite birds. aside from mourning doves and the California quail. Those are my 3 favorite birds. I also really like ravens, but I think the thing about my favorite birds is that I tend to really like birds that I actually see all the time. And while I think ravens are really cool, I never see ravens, but I do see crows a lot. I really, really like them. Okay, so anyway, the thing that I'm working on in this project bag is something that this YouTube channel has seen before as a finished object. And now it is not a finished object anymore. It's my Ranunculus. So this is the Ranunculus pattern by Knit Cafe Midori. And the yarn that I knit this out of is, oh gee whiz, Julie Aslin Nurtured Fine. It's like a heavy lace weight, or it's, I don't know, heavy lace light fingering, 100% non-superwash wool, single ply yarn. And I knit this a while ago, and I ended up not ever wearing it because I didn't love the shape of it. So originally I knit it to the pattern, and according to the pattern is a 1-size pattern. There's options to grade for, I think, larger sizes, but the main pattern, it just comes in 1 size, and it's supposed to be an oversized sweater. So I don't know, I guess that means whatever you make, it's supposed to fit a lot of people. I don't know, doesn't matter. But I followed the pattern, I used a light fingering, and I was just like, let's just see how it comes out. I don't know. And it fit, but I didn't like the way it fit. I kind of initially, I was like, yeah, this is cool, I can get into it, but I never got into it. So the way it was is it was very wide and very short, and that just ended up not working well for me. I like things with a little bit less negative ease if it's gonna be short. If it's gonna be long, I'm down with positive ease, but things that are short, especially this was like shorter than cropped short. It was just funky. It fit me weird, and I didn't like it. And I never wore it, and so I decided to rip it out, make it not as wide, and knit it a little longer. So that's what I tried to do, and I think it's working out really well. So pretty much the yoke I kept the same. I ripped all the way back to the armhole separation and redid, well, I ripped back up past the armhole separation, like all the way to the bottom of the lace yoke. And essentially what I ended up doing is I just took out the raglan increases. So the pattern has you do the yoke, and then it has you do raglan increases in stockinette after the yoke. And I just took those out, and I tried to do the math with the numbers and like how many stitches I wanted to take out and stuff, and like try to figure out how I needed to do that and where I needed to separate and stuff like that. And if I needed to increase after the yoke. It ended up working out to where, and it worked out weird. Like I do pattern math in a very roundabout, like long-handed way that is not efficient. I just don't know how to do it more efficiently. But I ended up figuring out after like 2 nights of work that all I needed to do was rip back to the bottom of the yoke increases, the bottom of the yoke, the whole yoke section, just completely skip the raglan increases and separate the sleeves right there. And not only did that cut out width, but it cut out yoke length. So another thing about the original sweater is that it was wide, but also the sleeve separation was like way down here, which is a design element of the sweater. It's just not something that I ended up liking. So now my sleeves split like more up here where my underarm is. And I like it. I think it worked out really well. I did a lot of like trying on while I was working on it. So essentially I just ripped back to the yoke, separated for the sleeves, and knit down straight. And I did the work on a size 9, which is originally what needle size I used. It's what the pattern calls for. And then I went down to an 8 for the ribbing. And I like the length a lot. I've tried it on and I think it's a lot better for me. I like the width a lot. It's a lot better for me. My only issue now is, so I've picked up for the first sleeve and I haven't done any knitting yet. I just picked it up. I worked out the numbers for the pickup stitches, so I know how many stitches I have, or I'm supposed to have, and I have them. But something that I altered in the original pattern was the sleeves, and I forgot that I had altered that. So the sleeves originally were perfect. They fit me really well. They were tapered. So the pattern, I had forgotten, but the pattern calls for either short sleeves or like these like kind of really wide bell sleeves. And I wanted like fitted sleeves. So I altered that, and I wish I would have looked at my original sleeves and noted how I did my decreases and how many stitches I ended up with at the bottom. I didn't do that because I just assumed I had followed the pattern, but I didn't. I haven't looked at my Ravelry notes yet. It could be in there, hopefully, but if not, that's fine. You know, I winged the sleeve decreases when I originally knit this sweater, so I'm just gonna probably have to wing it again, and I've done that before. I've altered sleeves to be fitted sleeves on quite a few other sweater patterns, and I always just kind of wing it, so it's gonna be fine. I just wish I didn't have to do that much thinking, but it's okay. So another thing that I fixed is the placement of the front and the back. I don't know what I did wrong the first time, but I'm pretty sure I ended up going like this the first time. And, you know, I put the sleeves on the sides, but with this sweater, she has you do short row shaping in the front and the back, a little more short row shaping in the back. So you have a little extra fabric here, a little more extra fabric in the back, and like not any extra fabric here. And somehow my yoke got twisted before separating for the sleeves last time, and because I could tell it was like this. So like I had a bunch of extra fabric here, no extra fabric here, and then it always just felt weird and twisted, and it was obviously off. So I fixed that. I made sure that I picked the points, like this is the back, and that's all the extra stockinette where the short rows are. This is the front, so there's a little less, and then on the shoulders, there is none, or way less. So I just was really careful about where the back should be, and that's where I made my beginning of my round, was right in the back. And I think that's gonna really improve the wearability of the sweater too, is actually having the yoke correct. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, it's still a crop top, but it's just not as cropped as it was before. It was just kind of like wingy and weird before. It's like I don't know, it just didn't work out for me. So I'm really excited about this. I've been working on this a lot. This yarn is really beautiful. I like it a whole lot. And this pattern is really great. I love this yoke, this lace yoke. It's just so pretty, and it was really fun and easy to do. I remember when I first knit it. I didn't re-knit any of the lace, but my friend Nina from Brujeria Lana, she's knit like a few ranunculuses out of fingering weight yarn, and re-knitting mine and not re-knitting the yoke is kind of making me want to copy her and like make more in some like hand-dyed fingering weight yarn. I think that could be really cool, especially if I actually like how this turns out, and then that way I know the modifications that I like for this pattern. So that is my ranunculus revisited, and I'm excited about it. Do you want to see my crazy sloppy notes? So this is my first set of notes with just a bunch of random numbers everywhere. This is my final set of notes. I finally figured out like what I need where. Aww. I just broke one of my progress keepers. So I have this really great pink pom-pom progress keeper that, as you can tell, it doesn't have a lobster claw on it anymore. That's because just right now I totally broke it. Trying to yank it too hard. It's just the little jump ring kind of opened up. I can fix it with some, what do you call them? Pliers? Needle nose pliers. Dang it. Oh well, it's okay. It's okay. I'm fixing it right now. I'm making you wait for me while I fix it. Nope, it's not working. Okay, my last work in progress is another sweater for autumn and sweaters. And this one is living in my Fat Squirrel project bag. This has some green birds on it. This is my Mazzy by Elisabeth Smith. And this is the sweater that I showed you last time that I had cast on. And I've just made kind of steady progress on it. It's really fun to work on. And the Mazzy is kind of an open-fronted raglan longer cardigan. It calls for worsted weight yarn. I'm using DK woolen spun yarn. And that is what it looks like so far. So I'm using the Harrisville Designs Nightshades. This is the Insomnia colorway, and Nightshades is a cormo that is really dark wool, and it's been dyed so that you can just kind of subtly see the color. And there's a whole line of really beautiful subtle colors, and this is the kind of olive one. And I started off with 4 skeins of this, or 5, I don't know, I forgot. I thought I was on the second skein, maybe I'm on the first skein still, I don't remember. But it's mostly black with just a little hint of green. I've done the ribbing on the bottom, it's a bottom up sweater. I've done the pockets, so she has you cast on these knitted squares for the pockets and set them aside with live stitches. And then at a certain point in your knitting, you attach them, and then you bind off some stitches on your main knitting, and then you attach them, and then they become these little flaps inside that you'll end up like tacking down. So that's a really neat pocket construction that I've never done before. And then the neckband that goes all the way down is a twisted rib. Well, it's not a twisted rib. It's a 2x2 rib with twists going up every other rib. Makes sense. And they're like little faux cables. They're just 1x1 twists. I've got my La Serena Tejera Progress Keeper, and it's a little concha. And I'm knitting this on my Licca Interchangeables US size 7 needles. And I really like this so far. It's really simple and easy. I'm at the point in the pattern where I just have like a whole bunch of inches to knit straight. And so it's just stockinette with the little ribbing twists on either end. It's really simple, it's really easy to follow, and I'm really liking it. I'm really excited to have a black sweater in my wardrobe, a black handmade sweater, which I've never had before. I'm really enjoying working with the Nightshades. It's really nice and woolly. It's a non-superwash, and it feels really, really good and, you know, squishy and light and airy the way a woolen spun does. I'm really liking working with black yarn. I don't often work with black yarn, even though I love wearing black clothing. And it is not bad at all. I think this is my first black sweater that I've ever made. So, and that is everything for my making. Now I will move on to shop update. I am the dyer behind Moonstone Dyeworks, and I am going to be having a Halloween shop update tomorrow, which is Saturday, October 10th. Saturday, October 10th at 9 a.m. Pacific time at moonstonedyeworks.com. I will have my brand new Halloween colorway up, which is called Departed, and I'm going to show you now. So this is Departed. It is my brand new Halloween colorway. Currently, I'm not doing any of my past Halloween colorways right now. I may between now and Halloween, but it has been undetermined. But for now, this is my brand new Halloween colorway. I am going to have it on BFL sock, merino single, and mohair silk lace weight. So I really, really like it. It's a really interesting color. So in some lights, it looks like a really deep, winey maroon. And then in other lights, it has a real like orangey, rusty tint to it. So it's, I don't know, it can look warm and it can look cool, kind of depending on what's going on around it. It's a really neat color. I like it a whole lot. I'm very happy with it. So happy Halloween month, everybody. I've got my Halloween yarn going up in the shop. I'm very excited about it. I think my Halloween colorways are my favorites. So that'll be up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I hope to see you there if you're interested. So now I will move on to favorites, and I think my favorite this month is Halloween. So it's October. Typically, I like to do Vlogtober, where I come out with a daily vlog in every day in October. I'm not doing that this year. Didn't work out. Usually I just kind of like decide to do it on October 1st and do it, and that starts it, and that didn't happen this year, so I'm not doing it. But I am really excited about Halloween. I am pretty bummed out that there will be no trick-or-treating for us this year, because I think this was the first year that Lucy would have really like been aware of the trick-or-treating and really enjoyed it. But we're not doing it. She's 2 now. But she did get a costume. She is a shark, and she's already worn it a lot, and it's amazing. And she is currently pretty into Baby Shark, the song. And so it's kind of perfect. I don't know if I will dress up this year. Probably not. I tend to typically not dress up anymore, even though I love the idea of dressing up. I just never make it happen. But I do have lots of kind of Halloween appropriate clothing that I like to wear around Halloween, but we're not gonna like do anything, so I don't know, we'll see. I probably will go on some Halloween related roller skating outings, so maybe those will be in a little bit of dress up. Are you dressing up for Halloween? What are you doing? I would love to know what you're gonna be for Halloween, or what your kids are gonna be, or if you're making your Halloween costume. I would love to hear about that, because that is something that I have so much respect for that I've never done, that I would love to do someday. Yeah, let me know. What are your Halloween plans this year? Okay, I think I will leave you there. Halloween, yay. I hope you're having a really nice October, and I hope you're doing whatever makes you happy, be it crafting or something outdoorsy or something with food or beverages or reading or movies or TV or whatever. I would love to hear about that too. What's making you happy right now? Okay. I will see you tomorrow at the shop update if you're interested. I will see you on Instagram in the hashtag Autumn and Sweaters 2020 if you're gonna participate. I hope you do. Thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon. You make this happen every single time, and I'm so grateful to all of you. If you're interested in checking out my Patreon, it has some pretty cool levels where you can get some pretty cool like yarn and stuff. So if you're interested, you can check that out. The link is below. Okay, have fun and stay awesome. Bye.